Have you ever been sad? For no reason. It is because you have been using the law of being in a non-preferable way for your spirit. Your I am, your real self, communicates to you via the language of desire, emotion, intuition, and dreams. If you ignore all these signs and continue to live a life that is against the desires of your I am, which is joy and love, you will gain negative spiritual momentum. We have all had days when one thing goes wrong and then another, and then another. The whole day becomes a mess. And we wonder why the universe is out to get us. Well, you have built up so much negative spiritual momentum that it must express in the form of all hell-breaking loose to release all that pent-up negative energy. The universe always stays in balance. Thus, when you have built up so much negative spiritual momentum by suppressing the inner man, the universe returns to equilibrium by making all hell break loose. This is how people get very sick as well. As all that negative energy needs to be expressed in one way or another. And for some people, the only way the universe or your inner man can turn you around is by making you hit rock bottom. That is, Murphy's Law comes knocking at your door. All that can go wrong will go wrong. And you are left wondering if God is punishing you. Or the devil is trying to put you down. But all that is happening is, the universe is seeking balance. Your soul is out of balance. But you are not aware of it. Thus, things need to happen to make you realize that you need to change some things. Rock bottom makes people question all their life. Their beliefs about themselves, reality, and even God. And this is when many of us become awake. We realize that there is much more to this reality than meets the eye. And we are powerful creators. This is when we can use the spiritual momentum in our favor. That is, we build up positive spiritual momentum. By interpreting reality from the lens of gratefulness. That is, this reality is happening for me, not to me. That I am creating it on many levels. I am creating it from my divine level as source or God. Then I am creating, or rather directing it, from the human level. By exercising my freedom of choice. Thus, I am a being of limitlessness. This is when you begin to see the beauty in the world. You become free and see that the only limitations are in the mind. And not in the all. Your inner self begins to speak to you even more now. Or rather, you become more attentive to it. You align with your divinity and begin to co-create with it. And so, begins the beautiful journey of building positive spiritual momentum. This is when you shift within yourself. You realize that you are boundless. And your own wonderful human imagination is God, the lovely quote from Neville Goddard. Why is it called spiritual momentum? Because we humans cannot just suppress our emotions as though they are like a light switch. You simply cannot overturn the build-up negative momentum and the state of mind that you are occupying instantly. But you can make a decision instantly to no longer give it more energy. That is, you begin to starve the negative momentum by no longer making choices that feeds it. And it begins to die out. This is why using affirmations of wealth when you are broke feels like a lie. As you have too much negative momentum build up to simply turn it around like that. It's like a flowing river, you need to go with the flow of the river rather than go against it. Go against it and you might get crushed. This is what Abraham Hicks also teaches. And it is something I have learned in my personal experience. That is, in the midst of a negative experience, do not try to force positive feelings. Go with the flow and allow the emotions to exist. When nothing is going your way, allow it all. Stop resisting against it. Sit down and breathe. Allow it all to pass. And you will see that your body will begin to feel lighter. It's all that pent-up negative spiritual momentum leaving your body. And since you didn't resist it, it cannot continue as its fuel is drying up. Thus, you begin to turn back to balance. On a side note, have you ever tried to tell your fuming wife or girlfriend to just calm down? Bad idea, as most of you might have experienced terrible consequences afterwards. Because she is experiencing an emotional outburst that simply cannot be turned into calm instantaneously. You need to facilitate the flow of emotions to pass through her. A hug might be all she needs. As it brings her back to stillness. This is all that we need to do. To bring ourselves back to stillness. That God presence that Eckhart Tolle teaches. In the midst of chaos, be still and know that I am. And once you have stabilized, now begin to build up positive spiritual momentum. Listen to your intuition. Honor your inner man, or your I am. That is, say yes to its desires. Notice all the good that you have in your life. It is all about conscious choices. Your conscious choices determine your life's direction. And once this momentum gets going, it cannot be stopped unless you begin to entertain the opposite. I have noticed in my personal life that when I feel good and aligned with my I am, I can deal with negativity much more easily. And I am able to stay in my divine center and let the negativity pass. But when I have not been honoring my inner man, every small thing bothers me. The rain that should make you feel happy on a summer day makes you feel gloomy. Simply because your inner man has not been honored. You have been keeping it imprisoned in the whirlpool of negative spiritual momentum. And it seeks to get out. And the only way out is through you. And if you do not cooperate, it will make you hit rock bottom. This is the basis of the law of attraction as well. But the law of attraction community can sometimes be too positive and makes no room for the negative emotions. The emotions must be experienced in fullness to allow the momentum to shift. If you suppress them, they will come to haunt you with much more vitality. You must allow the state that you are in to exist. As you begin to still yourself. And once the storm has ended and you feel stable, you can make better conscious choices from there to build the wonderful joyous spiritual momentum that your inner man craves. And your life will be wonderful from there on. To say the least.